Okay, so a little segue into the next gray that I'm going to talk about. So when I think of Baltimore, honestly, I mean, this doesn't have to mean anything, but it really does. When I think of Baltimore, I instantly think of Edgar Allan Poe. And I mean, and Edgar Allan Poe, look when he died. 1849. I've been talking about 49. Interesting that he dies in 49. But, and I know I talked about this a long time, but I just want to like reiterate the point here. His first writing is called Tamerlan and Other Poems. It was the first writing or first published work by Edgar Allan Poe. Um, and it was actually published under the name the Bostonian instead of Edgar Allan Poe. It even says that he claimed to be 22 years old, which 22 I've talked about multiple times with 11, 211, 22, whatever. You know, there are tons of 22s. He was actually 18, but he claimed to be 22. But anyway, let's keep looking here. Um, Actually, I see November 8th there. Hold on one second. Yeah, it says, well, whatever. It shows the poem attributed with the byline by a Bostonian. So, whatever. Yeah, I want to move on to this. I'm going to take up so much time. But interesting, right? So, Edgar Allan Poe's first writings are actually called Tamerlan. And what about the Boston bombing? The Boston bombing guy, Jokar or whatever, he just went through a big old trial that got over on the 98th day of the year, which is 49 and 49. But check this out. His brother, his name is Tamerlan, and look when he died. April 19th, the same day that Freddie Gray died. Interesting. I mean, I've talked about this multiple times before. They injured 3 people, or killed 3 people, injured 264. 264 is 88 plus 88 plus 88. I mean, the list just goes on of whatever. But interesting, he was born on October 21st, and this is where I'm getting into the gray here. So he was born on October 21st. That is actually the same day that Marty McFly goes to 2015 and buys the Gray's Sports Almanac. And just to show you right here, it's October 21st, 2015. Marty McFly happened upon the book and fantasized, blah, 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 blah. So he got the book, and then Doc got mad, whatever. But then later on, Doc throws it away, and then Biff steals it, and he takes it back to November 12th, 1955, to give to his former, or his past self so he can be wealthy or whatever, right? But November 12th, there's 49 days left until the end of the year. I mean, what are the odds of that? And here's a picture of the actual almanac and what it looks like, and just to prove that it's the Gray's Sports Almanac. And I've talked about, in my previous probably 100 videos, I've talked about how everything revolves around Space Jam, Back to the Future, and Teen Wolf. And even a little bit of the Brady Bunch, even, which I haven't looked into that much, which I need to. I've seen that like Eminem has a song, "Will the Real Slim Shady Please Stand Up?" And there's actually an episode called "Will the Real Jan Brady Please Stand Up?" Just haven't had time to really watch her. I get busy doing so much other things because they just keep putting stuff in your face, and it's like, man. But anyway, let's see here. Yeah, just I guess pointing out that it's the Gray's Sport Almanac. I guess another quick thing I wanted to talk about with Back to the Future. I just realized it today. That the mayor is Goldie Wilson, or when he goes to the future, it's Goldie Wilson the third, and he comes up right. It's right around the same time, right before he goes into the '80s cafe or whatever. But it's Goldie Wilson. The guy who plays Goldie Wilson, his name is Donald Fullalove. Fully Love. Like, come on. I've been I've been talking about it, and this dude's name is Donald Foley Love. or full of love. Like, come on. It's so ridiculous. I'm sorry for even laughing at it. It's just, I just can't even get over it. It's so stupid. Anyway, and then I guess I was re-looking at Back to the Future 2 here, and I realized it came out on November 22nd, 1989. November 22nd is the day that JFK got shot. You had Mark Twain, or not Mark Twain, but Stephen King made that book, 11/22, 63 or whatever, and it's also 108 minutes long, which is 54 and 54. But anyway, gonna move on, I think. Just wanted to point out that it was the Gray's magazine, and everything I've been talking about has to do with time travel, and Back to the Future is a really big part of it. So then, the word Freddie just reminds me of Freddy Krueger. It always, Freddy, I don't know, Freddy Krueger. I grew up in that era, whatever. And it's crazy. So there's actually an episode, or not an episode, a movie, The Sixth Nightmare on Elm Street, and it's actually called Freddy's Dead. And I remember it because he puts the one guy in the Nintendo or whatever, and he's like, aha, the power glove or something, you know. I just remember that part from when I was a kid. But let's just check this movie out. So Freddy's Dead, right? So just like Freddy died, Freddie Gray died. Well, this movie came out on September 13th, 1991. So let's check out September 13th. September 13th is the 256th day of the year, and there are 109 days left. Now, remember that, because remember, Freddie Gray, he died on April 19th. So remember, 109 days left, and Freddie Gray died on the 109th day on April 19th. I mean, what are the odds of that? I've talked about these, the anti-dates or the mirror dates. Like, for example, November 10th is my birthday. My mirror or my anti-date is February 20th, 220, because there's February 20th is the 51st day, and November 10th, there's 51 days left until the end of the year. So they're mirrors or whatever. And interesting, so Freddie Gray dies on the 109th day, and Freddie from the movie that I swear most people in my generation at least should remember, Freddie's Dead, he dies on the mirror day of it. I mean, pretty strange. Anyway, Freddy Krueger is based on characters by Wes Craven. And Wes Craven, wouldn't you know, he was born on August 2nd. August 2nd is the 214th day of the year. And what do you get when you get 214? 214 is 214, which is Valentine's Day, February 14th. I mean, come on. He was even born in 1939, and he will be 76 years old this year. And look at the latitude and longitude of Baltimore, 3976. I mean, that doesn't have to mean much, but that's pretty crazy. All right, so anyway, I just want to take another look at Freddie Gray here. Look through it a little more in depth here. All right, I guess before I even get to that, I want to go back to the Baltimore riot, the Civil War thing. So after that happened, they had a meeting whether or not they were going to secede from the Union, Maryland. And it says that since Annapolis, the capital, was occupied by federal troops and Baltimore was harboring many pro-Confederate mobs, Hicks directed the legislature to meet in Frederick, in the predominantly Unionist western part of the state. The legislature met on April 26th, on which John Wilkes Booth died that day, supposedly. But on April 29th, it voted 53-13 against secession. So it didn't secede from the Union, but I just found it interesting that they moved it out of Baltimore to Frederick. Frederick. I mean, come on. His sister was Frederica, and then he's Frederick. What are the odds of that? And then it says that it's actually the second biggest city in Maryland besides Baltimore. Where is it here? All right, making it the second largest incorporated city in Maryland, behind only Baltimore. Just found that kind of interesting. I mean, what are the odds that uh, they're basing it on the Civil War, and then literally the guy's name's Freddie, and then they went to Frederick to vote if they were going to succeed from the Union. Give me a break. So anyway, basically, with this whole murder or whatever it was, not really, I guess, I don't know. Depends on how you look at it. But it says he tried to run on foot, and they tackled him. He had a switchblade. They took him into custody at 8:40 a.m., 8:40, 8:04, Obama's birthday, all kinds of stuff with 8:04. Um, I'm just going to keep moving on here. It said, basically, paramedics were summoned to take Gray to a hospital. He was taken to University of Maryland R. Adams Cowley Shock Trauma Center. I just found it interesting. This hospital is actually named after R. Adams Cowley, who is considered the father of trauma medicine. It says he is known for being one of the first surgeons to perform open heart surgery. So, I mean, I know it sounds ridiculous, but Valentine's Day and the heart thing. And he invented a surgical clamp that bears his name and a prototype pacemaker that was used by Dwight D. Eisenhower. I mean, wow, so this guy's pretty famous. It also says he was the creator of the golden hour. It's a concept, the period of 60 minutes or less following injury when immediate definitive care is crucial to a trauma patient's survival. I mean, he created something called the golden hour, and I've talked about gold and 49 in San Francisco and everything. I mean, that's just strange.